Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of the garden tour. I'm in my backyard right now, on my back steps, and over here you can see I have bluestar, which is Amsonia. I have some some cut leaf ground cherries that are volunteers. I've got some blue-eyed grass that you can't even really see right now because it's done doing its thing. I've got purple coneflower, switchgrass, and then I have a little container down here that has switchgrass, I forget the Latin name for it, but I've got a sneezeweed in there, strawberries, wood sorrel, and I think that's all that's in here. Love this container. It's got a little self-watering reservoir in it. Which is really good for my garden because my garden's really sunny and dry and kind of hard to keep containers alive for the most part. And then here's that other switchgrass. I think it's really, really pretty. Love it, actually. It's not really easy to show on camera, but it is beautiful. I can't wait till it gets thicker. Now, this was kind of a temporary spot for me to plant it because I do need to put a railing right here to match the other side. So, kind of want to put a railing there, but I don't think it's going to be in the way. I can move this container and I can still put a railing in, so I think we'll be okay there. And then here's the volunteer euphorbias, and I think they are Euphorbia dentata, but I'm not 100% sure. People have been trying to help me ID these, but they're a volunteer. They have really pretty fall color. I really like them intermingled with the bluestar. I also actually have a, oh shoot, what is the name of this? Baptisia, a native Baptisia in here. But I meant to move it because I didn't know it's basically a shrub when it gets bigger. It's way down here right now. You guys, I feel so bad. I should have moved this way earlier. It gets a taproot from what I have heard. And so I might not be able to move it. But as you can see, it's falling underneath all this other stuff. I've got some asters that have volunteered in here. I might have to move some things, like asters and goldenrods, if they come up in here, because they're just too tall for this little spot. But they're fine back there. The asters are pretty good in that spot right there. And then I've got some little sunflowers right here. They're actually mammoth sunflowers, but since I put them in a pot, they're really tiny compared to what they would be. But they're actually still pretty cute, so I have them there. And this is what it looks like from this angle. Here are the asters. They're pretty much done, but there's a few left blooming. They're volunteers as well. They get very bushy, as you can see. I have them right next to my garden hose. And the Amsonia, I think the Amsonia is really cute here, but I think that I think I should have put it in a different spot just because they weep over, and it's just not the best habit for such a skinny strip of garden. This is a very skinny strip of garden. This used to be a porch that was dilapidated, and we had to have it ripped out, and so we just put in some steps and a path. And we put in this path ourselves, and it left this empty strip of ground, which is better than just all of it being hardscape because of all the runoff that causes. So it's good to have a little garden strip in here, but it is kind of a challenge with native plant gardening to figure out what to put here. So over the years, this is probably going to shift, and it's probably going to change over time. Before I put natives in here, I had like violas or something in here, or vinca, hopefully the non-invasive vinca. I can't remember, but I pulled those out. So, do you need a short, quick guide to get started in wildlife gardening? Well, turns out I've got just the thing. I just came out with a new free ebook just for you, and it's called A Wild Approach to Gardening 101, and it's available on my website today at macylou.com/shop. It's free, so go check it out. What do you have to lose? Hey guys, can you do me a quick favor, pretty please? Could you hit the like button and the subscribe button under this video? It really helps me know which videos resonate with you guys. Now let's get back to the show. They're not here anymore anyways, but so over here I've got some broom sedge blue stem that I just let come up where it wants to. And I have some asters right here, and I have some little moss in this little pot right here. I really love moss. And then I have more of this euphorbia. And I have a lot of little baby asters and goldenrods in here that I need to like dig up and put somewhere else because they just aren't good for the path. But I do love them, and so I plan to move them somewhere else. And I have a lot of empty space up behind the retaining wall, so I might be able to try to put them there and just see if they grow there. I mean, these are free plants. They volunteered, so it couldn't hurt. More of that euphorbia, which has really pretty fall color. I have a lot of strawberries in here. And I think this is Nimblewill. Volunteered. But the strawberries I put, now these strawberries are not the straight species native. They're actually I think they're the standard strawberries that people cultivate that have like the regular size berries. They're not small, but they're not large. They're kind of just the in-between. And if I'm not mistaken, that is a cross between the native strawberries and a non-native strawberry. So I think that's what I have. And then I've planted some purple lovegrass right there, which is brand new, so it's a baby. And I have another purple lovegrass right here, and I have a red chokeberry right there that I started from seed from some of my other chokeberries. I have obedient plant, which is just starting to bloom for me. I notice it blooms earlier for other people. For some reason in my garden it blooms in November. I don't really know why, but it does. So if anyone knows why, let me know. And also, let me know, like, what, is it gonna go to seed? Since it's blooming in November, is it actually gonna get pollinated and go to seed? Because I just don't know, because I want to collect the seeds. Because one of my strategies with gardening is actually to buy at least 3 of each plant and hope that at least one of them produces seeds at some point, if not all of them, and then take the seeds from that and create more plants. That is my budget-friendly way of doing things. Now, I don't always do it that way, but that's usually what I do. So that's a little tip from me to you. I have some wild geranium in here, and you can't really see it right now because it is pretty much dormant, but there's a little leaf of it right there. That's wild geranium. Here's more of the obedient plant right here. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some really pretty blooms soon, you guys. So yeah, I try to grow a lot of stuff from seed, but a lot of times I'll start with plants and then gather seeds from the plants that I bought and go from there to get more. So I do the long game. I just try to be really patient with it. I have a lot of wild petunias in here. That's what these are. They turn a really pretty yellow green in the fall, as you can see. They really stand out against everything else right now. And I've put some baby great blue lobelias and cardinal flowers in here. And honestly, I forget which one is which sometimes. Cardinal flower and great blue lobelia. Sometimes I forget which one is which. So I don't remember if this is the cardinal flower or the great blue lobelia. But maybe you guys know, and you can tell me down below. Which one did I plant? Oh, I'm getting seeds all over me, you guys. Look at that. Whoops. That is blue mist flower, by the way. If you guys wanted to know. Blue mist flower is going to seed, so I should be able to collect some of those. And I have a Christmas fern in here, which is what the fern is that you see. I have some more of the strawberries. I have a purple coneflower. And I also recently planted three of these golden Alexanders. That's what this is. It's a golden Alexander. So there should be 3 right there. If you count this one right here. There's also some wild ginger mixed in here. Anyway, there's also some wild ginger mixed in here, and there are some other ferns in here that I think have already gone dormant. And then, of course, there's some asters that I volunteered. And I saw a squirrel plant a black walnut back here the other day, so I might have to dig that out. Because otherwise, I'm gonna have a tree like I have over there. See that? I need to kill that tree. Because it's right up against my steps. That's just not a great place for a tree. At least a big tree. And if you see this, it's mostly dormant right now, but there's a little bit of leaves left on this one. And this is, from everything I've seen, honey vine milkweed, or blue vine, which is a host plant for the monarch butterflies. Now, I've never seen mine bloom or go to seed, so I'm thinking it's because this is such a shady spot. This is a very, very shady corner. It is the north side of my house, and just the sun just doesn't really get in this corner. And it's a very dry corner. It's wet here, not wet, but it's like moist here because that's where the gutter leaks and we have a little splash pad. So water probably gets like in this general vicinity, but it's very dry back there in the far corner. So that's why like nothing's growing there. So a dry shade plant would probably be good there, but we haven't planted anything there because we plan to put railings on both sides of both steps. So there's that. I've got more wild petunia. I have some dwarf crested irises down in there. Kind of hard to see through all the other plants, but I'm going to zoom in for you. And there you go. Those are the dwarf crested irises. You can see the blades of the iris leaves. They're really pretty in the spring, so I love them. Love them, love them. And I need to divide them, as a lot of you have told me, and I appreciate that. So I will be dividing those. It just keeps dropping to the bottom of my list. My imaginary list, that's in my head. There's some more dwarf crested irises right there. So there's that. This creeping Charlie just keeps coming back. I pull it up and it just keeps coming back. But what can you do? I have planted sneezeweed in here. I've planted cardinal flower in here, but since the goldenrod and the asters are very aggressive, they kind of overshadow the things I've put in, and I did just put them in a few months ago, so we'll see if they come to fruition. But here's a broom sedge blue stem just doing its thing. Look at that. Doing its thing. Love that. It looks like I have some little holes, which is pretty cool. Look at that, you guys. Wonder what lives in there. Could be native bees. Pretty cool, huh? I also put some liatris in here, and there's bergamot in here. I think I planted some cup plant. That might be cup plant, I'm not sure. But again, it's there's a lot of goldenrod and asters here that kind of are coming back that I've pulled out, so they have pretty strong roots. And this is a chair that broke, and so just using it as a garden cage, I guess, just to keep the asters back from the path a little bit, make it easier to walk through there. And then we have a coral berry in a pot right here that I am waiting for the grass to die over there before I put it in its final home. More asters and goldenrods that have gone to seed. And then right here I have a sassafras tree, which I'm really excited about. I love sassafras, and it's just starting to turn orange for fall. I love these trees. They're just absolutely beautiful. Hopefully it continues to grow. The other one died. I had two, and unfortunately the other one died, but this one seems to be doing decently. It keeps getting new growth. New growth there, new growth there. And I saw my first spice bush swallowtail caterpillar on this tree. I guess a couple months ago. I forget what date that was. I don't know if he made it, because I don't know if he might have gotten eaten by a bird, but as this tree grows and as I add more sassafras trees, hopefully there'll be enough food for the spice bush swallowtail to sustain itself, because I never see the spice bush swallowtail butterfly lay eggs on my spice bushes for some reason, but I did see one caterpillar on the sassafras, so it seems like sassafras is what I should try to cultivate here, if I can. And I'm assuming the other one just died because I put it in a spot that it just didn't like. This is a more flat spot. This is a spot right next to concrete, so and I water this one more because it's easier to get to. It's easier to water, and since it's a flat spot, more water naturally just goes here in the first place, so it gets a lot more moisture than the other one did. So I'm thinking that could be part of it, but it also could be the sun. This is full sun. Full sun. The other spot was part sun. And I also have some spiderwort right there. It kind of like went dormant and then it came back. Oh, there's some Bermuda trying to come up through it. And then I planted a blue lobelia right here, but I don't know. I don't know if it made it or not. And there's the goldenrod seed heads. There's the back of the house. that faces north, so north is that way. And then my bird bath is dirty. I really need to clean it. It's filthy. What do I have up here? This is where the chipmunks hang out. They're really cute. They hang out all along my retaining wall. And they just love this spot. I've got eastern red cedars, which volunteered. I've got Virginia creeper, volunteered. I've got English ivy I need to kill. I've got invasive honeysuckles I need to kill. I've got more eastern red cedar right there. I've got a lot of grapevines that I get annoyed at that come up. I think non-native blackberries. There's native blackberries, but there's non-native blackberries also. So I kind of have to keep an eye on this area, and I have to sometimes dig them up. I have privet I need to dig out. I have pawpaws I planted. They completely lost their leaves for fall. And I have frostweed that is seeded from my front garden probably. And more eastern red cedars, more English ivy to pull out, more eastern red cedars and privet. The privets need to go, the eastern red cedars can stay. I love the crunch of the leaves. Over here I've got silky dogwoods. And in this pot, I have a flowering dogwood that I need to put in the ground. And I have a pawpaw tree that I need to put in the ground. And some asters have volunteered, of course, in the pot. I have a black cherry tree in a pot that I've had in a pot for years. I don't know if it's going to live much longer. If I plant it, I don't know where to plant it because I don't really have a lot of room for another tall tree like this, but I'm tempted to try to plant it somewhere. Haven't decided where, but it likes full sun, so I need to pick a spot that has enough sun. Part sun might work. I might be able to make it work in part sun. The question is, I've had it in this pot for years, so is it root bound? Probably. So I don't know if it'll actually live, even if I plant it in the ground. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I was wanting to keep it in the pot, but I just don't think it's going to live much longer in this pot. I can probably get a bigger pot, but anything bigger than this is going to be extraordinarily heavy once it's put in it. So I hate if I can't move pots around. So I might have to put it on wheels, or I might just have to leave it wherever I put it and just be done with it. But I might put it in the ground. We'll see. I just don't think I have a spot for it. Might have to give it away. And then I have some Partridge Berry right here that I planted. Hopefully it does okay. I'm probably going to water it today because it's looking a little bit puny. The reason I planted it here is this is completely shady in the summer, and Partridge Berry likes shade. So I really need some shady ground covers for this area. They need to be drought tolerant shady ground covers, and I think Partridge Berry is, but you still have to water them to get them established, just like anything else. So I think I'm gonna have to throw some water on that today because it's looking puny. And then of course my silky dogwoods have pretty much lost all their leaves. There's still some decent leaves on that one. And then here's my Indian grass and late purple aster combo. Here's some late purple aster beauty right here. I love late purple aster. I planted this from seeds that I took from my front yard, late purple aster. And I bought the Indian grass seeds from Roundstone Native Seed, which if you haven't shopped at Roundstone Native Seed, you should if you are local to Kentucky or Tennessee or North Carolina or anywhere near Kentucky, because they have some great seeds, especially native grasses and some native flowers. So highly recommend. So I'm hoping that this will be a beautiful combo of Indian grass and late purple aster as the years go on. But this is their first year being in the ground, so they are really tiny right now. But hopefully they will grow and become big, beautiful plants, because this area is very, very difficult for me to grow anything. I have put in zinnias, which are not native, but I've also put some native flowers in here. I've put bergamot in here. I've tried so many things in here, and things just don't like it up here. It's extremely brutal sun. It's extremely dry. It's behind a retaining wall, so it's getting all the heat from the concrete. So this is a very difficult spot for me to grow anything. I've tried to grow watermelons up here before, and that was obviously a big mistake. I mean, I think we got like one watermelon, but obviously that wasn't the right plant for this spot. And I do get some of these volunteer plants. Like I get like volunteer goldenrods, and I get volunteer pokeberries. So the pokeberries always look really pretty right here until fall, and then they have the really gorgeous bright red stems when they drop all their leaves and all that. But other than that, I just get a lot of invasive crap that comes in here, and I'm constantly having to rethink this area. So hopefully the Indian grass and the late purple aster will just go crazy here and just fill in and reseed themselves up here and create a beautiful drift of them. We will see. That's what I hope to happen. And then over here I've got some Verbena bonariensis. There's some blooms coming back on here, as you can see. Not native, but again, the butterflies love it, and I hope to add native verbenas here someday. And for now, I want to kill the grass right here, because again, I want to grow native plants up here. I want to grow native shrubs and flowers. And again, I tried to plant some things up here and they died. So I've really got to lean into the dry aspect. I've really got to lean into the full 6+ hours of sun. This is probably like 8-9 hours of sun. I mean, it's crazy. Because there's no shade here whatsoever, except for early morning when the sun is shaded by the fence. The rest of it is just full sun. We put some irises up here that are not native, for temporary, that we just dug up from a different part of the garden. So hopefully one day I will have this area figured out, but for now, the silky dogwoods are pretty cool. Even though silky dogwoods are actually better for wet areas, I've been able to make them work in this dry spot. And I think it's just because I supplementally watered them for the first few years, especially in the summer. I think that's the only reason they survived. And they're pretty good size. I mean, you can see they are about as tall as the fence now, which is great. So yeah, that's what I've got going on back here in this spot. I really like the Eastern Red Cedars. I know a lot of people don't like them because they tend to really dominate a dry garden. But let me tell you, when you have this huge retaining wall and you have a huge silver maple, and the silver maple's roots are everywhere, and it's really hard to dig because of the roots. When something volunteers that's native, that's evergreen, that's a wildlife sheltering plant that will give them somewhere to nest, I can't help myself but want it to be there. Now the privet next to it though has got to go. That one looks a little bit too big to dig up, so I might have to herbicide that one. Sorry about that. A box elder bug went right in my eye, literally. Okay. Anyway, so there are a couple privets here that I've got to kill, but there's also these Eastern Red Cedars, and I've got 4 right here in this one little corner. And let me tell you, I don't hate it. I don't hate the Eastern Red Cedars. I love them. Now the hackberries are native, but I think there's just too many hackberries. I think I'm gonna have to do something about them. I think there's too many. I mean, they're so small though, and I think the groundhog eats them. So I don't think they ever really will grow into trees. But we already have this really big hackberry up here, and I love hackberry. I just don't think I want like a forest monoculture of hackberry. And it looks like, unfortunately, there is a potential invasive. Look at this, you guys. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong. But I think this might be a Bradford pear or a Callery pear. So I'm gonna need to dig that out ASAP. That is a bad, if I'm right, that's a bad guy. We don't want that one there. Privet right behind it too. I don't know if you can see the privet right behind it, but yeah. So those are bad. So yeah, this area gets a lot of invasive crap. Invasive grasses, invasive thorny things, invasive privet, invasive honeysuckle. So when the Eastern Red Cedar comes up, I'm just like, okay, I'll work with you. I will work with you. You're native, you're evergreen. This is a steep hill. I mean, anything native that is pretty is gonna make me happy up here for the most part. Because it's always been an ugly spot that I've always had trouble with. So yeah, I'm gonna work to add more drought-loving things up here that are native, like lens-leaf coreopsis. I'm gonna try. I don't know if it can handle these conditions, but it can handle some pretty tough conditions, so I'm gonna try it. But this is what it looks like this time of year from up here on the steps, right near Chippy's little home. I really need to clean up back here. I've got a lot of pots I need to clean and get them ready for seed sowing. I need to get some more of the Happy Frog soil that I like to use for winter sowing. And so yeah, thank you for watching part 2 of my garden tour. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope it gave you a pretty good idea of what the backyard looks like, specifically this section. And I hope you'll join me in part 3. I'm gonna have multiple parts to this garden tour series for November because there's just so much to look at, and I feel like I really want to get more detailed with my garden tours. I think a lot of them are just too quick and too vague on what I have. So hopefully this will give you a good idea of what I actually have in my garden, more specific. Because I know a lot of you have suggested talking more about the names of every single plant. And so I'm trying to do that in these videos, which makes them longer, so hopefully you stick around and enjoy them. Thanks for watching part 2. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what's going on in your garden and what your favorite plants are right now. And what was your favorite plant in my garden in this video? My favorite in this video was sassafras, but yeah, let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Brand new items are now available in the shop. Thanks so much to viewers like you for supporting the channel. To support the channel, like the video, comment, and subscribe. You can also support my work by buying art from me at macylu.com. Thanks for watching!